Hello, and welcome to my channel, where I review and analyze some of the best and worst horror books of all time. Today, I'm going to summarize one of the most iconic and influential novels in the genre, The Shining by Stephen King. But before I begin, please make sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell icon to get notified whenever I upload a new video. And if you enjoy my content, please consider supporting me on Patreon, where you can get access to exclusive perks and rewards. Now, let's get started. The Shining is a novel that was published in 1977, and it was King's third book and his first hardback bestseller. It tells the story of a family that moves into a haunted hotel for the winter, and how the supernatural forces there drive the father into madness and violence. It deals with themes of addiction, isolation, family, and the power of the mind. The novel is set in the late 1970s, and it follows the Torrance family, Jack, Wendy, and their 5-year-old son, Danny. Jack is a recovering alcoholic and a failed writer who has a history of anger issues and domestic abuse. He has lost his teaching job after assaulting a student, and he is desperate for a fresh start. He accepts a job as the caretaker of the Overlook Hotel, a remote and luxurious resort in the Colorado mountains that closes during the winter season. He hopes that the isolation and the tranquility of the place will help him finish his play and mend his relationship with his wife and son. Wendy is a loving and loyal wife who has endured Jack's alcoholism and violence, and who still hopes that he can change and be a better husband and father. She is also a protective and caring mother who worries about Danny's well-being and happiness. She is willing to support Jack's decision to take the job at the Overlook, but she is also wary of the potential dangers and difficulties of living in such a secluded and eerie place. Danny is a bright and sensitive boy who has a special gift that he calls the Shining. He can read minds, see visions, and sense things that others can't. He is sometimes visited by an imaginary friend named Tony, who shows him glimpses of the past and the future. Danny is aware of the dark and evil presence that lurks in the Overlook, and he is afraid of what it might do to him and his family. On the day of their arrival, the Torrances are given a tour of the Overlook by the hotel manager, Mr. Ullman, and the head chef, Dick Halloran. Halloran is also a Shiner, and he recognizes Danny's gift. He warns him to stay away from certain areas of the hotel, especially room 217, where a gruesome murder-suicide took place. He also tells him that the hotel is like a sponge that absorbs the emotions and memories of the people who have stayed there, and that some of them are not very nice. He gives Danny a way to contact him telepathically, in case he needs help. As the winter progresses, the Torrances settle into their new home, but they soon realize that they are not alone. The hotel is haunted by the ghosts of its former guests and staff, who have died or gone insane there. Some of them are harmless, some of them are friendly, but some of them are malevolent and dangerous. They begin to influence and manipulate Jack, who becomes more paranoid, irritable, and violent. He neglects his work and his family, and he spends more time in the hotel's bar, where he is served drinks by the ghost of the previous caretaker, Delbert Grady, who killed his wife and 2 daughters with an axe before killing himself. Meanwhile, Danny is tormented by terrifying visions and encounters, such as a rotting corpse in the bathtub of room 217, a masked ball of the dead in the lobby, and a fire hose that comes to life and tries to strangle him. He also sees the word redrum written on the walls and doors, which he later realizes is murder spelled backwards. He tries to warn his mother, but she is too scared and confused to believe him. He also tries to reach Halloran, but the hotel interferes with his signal. Eventually, Jack succumbs to the hotel's influence, and he decides to kill his wife and son, as Grady tells him to. He sabotages the hotel's radio and snowmobile, cutting off their communication and escape. He also finds a croquet mallet, which he uses as a weapon. He attacks Wendy, who manages to lock herself in the bathroom, and he tries to break down the door with the mallet. He also chases Danny through the hotel and the hedge maze outside, where Danny manages to trick him and escape. Meanwhile, Halloran, who has received Danny's distress call, arrives at the hotel with a snowcat. He is attacked by Jack, who breaks his jaw with the mallet, but he survives and helps Wendy and Danny to get to the snowcat. They leave the hotel, while Jack, who is severely injured and delirious, staggers into the boiler room, where he forgets to relieve the pressure. The boiler explodes, destroying the hotel and killing Jack. The novel ends with an epilogue, set several months later, where Wendy, Danny, and Halloran are recovering from their ordeal in a resort in Maine. They are planning to move to Florida, where Halloran works as a cook. Danny still has his shining, but he is learning to cope with it. He also sees his father's ghost, who kisses him and tells him he loves him. The Shining is a novel that showcases King's mastery of horror and suspense, as well as his ability to create complex and realistic characters. It is a novel that explores the themes of addiction, isolation, family, and the power of the mind. It is a novel that has inspired countless adaptations, interpretations, and variations in literature, film, theatre, art, and more. It is a novel that has become a cultural phenomenon and a symbol of the modern horror genre. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.